How do we usually start these, Darren?
Um,
Hello, world,
I don't know.
and Larson students. Today is Monday, March 7th,
2016.
2016, right. And we are at our Larson Business School in Nevada, in Las Vegas, starting to talk about calendar this week. And how's the weather in California?
Raining over.
Huh,
We had a
it's
good-
raining right now?
Not right now, but morning it did last night.
Okay.
I could barely hear.
So we asked how the weather is there. He said it's raining, not right now, but it was this morning, last night.
How
So
about
we
that?
asked the weather there for historic purposes. These are taped, not taped, but these are stored on YouTube. So 1,000 years from now, when people come back and they look at this, they'll be able to get what the weather was like in California. And so this is a good opportunity for everyone to be very positive and upbeat because this is part of history. So Darren, why don't we have you say hi?
Hello,
Everyone.
California.
So we'll get
Hello.
up here on our screen. So this is Darren,
Hello.
and I have to say Darren is one of the most happy, pleasant people, right? Doesn't everybody agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's wrong with
It's
that?
hard to concentrate here because they'll just start laughing.
Yeah.
So where are you from,
I'm
Darren?
from Las Vegas.
You grew up here?
Yeah.
Born here?
Born and raised here.
Oh, where'd you go to high school?
Rancho.
Okay, isn't that what people always ask when you say I'm from here?
Oh yeah.
They always say, where'd you go to high school?
Yeah. Graduated from Rancho.
Okay, anybody else here from Rancho? Where'd you go to high school?
I'm not from Vegas,
Oh, where are you from?
from Valley.
Fallon. Where's Fallon?
Reno.
An hour from Reno.
Okay, that's the Air Force Base or something, right? Okay, how about you, Tyrell? Where are you from?
From Los Angeles, California.
Oh, what part?
South Central.
So here's Tyrell, he's from South Central. Why don't you just go like this? Okay, Kevin, where are you from?
Detroit.
Oh, Detroit. I think we talked about that because I have a Detroit hat. And how about you, Connie? Where are you from?
Pennsylvania.
What part? Oh, Pittsburgh. Steve?
From Seattle.
Ah, what part of Seattle?
Actually, Everett, which is 30 miles north.
Okay, so you don't really know where Des Moines is, right?
Of course I do.
Oh, you do? Okay, how about Zenith?
Which one?
Zenith. It's
No.
part of Seattle, just a small thing right on the water. And when I say Des Moines, I meant Des Moines, part of Seattle.
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of a trick question. Ed or
California.
Tony or Ed?
Ed.
Okay. What part of California?
California, 29 Palms.
29 Palms. And Jesus?
Reno, Nevada,
But you were in LA for some time, right? Or Orange County?
Torrance, California.
Torrance, okay. And Dave is from where?
Que pasa?
Where's
Los
it?
Angeles.
What part?
A little town
See,
called Eagle
welcome
Rock.
to my world. Okay, Eagle Rock. There's a camp in Eagle Rock, I think.
Yes, there is.
Fire camp. Okay.
Are you
Our,
from?
huh?
You from?
I was born in Oakland, and I grew up near Oakland. Near there. Okay. Nobody here's from Oakland? Okay.
Oakland Fires.
Yeah, I was gone by then. Okay, so today we're talking about calendar. What does anybody remember from the lesson plan about the calendar, about calendars? What's anybody remember about calendars? Nothing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to check that red box?
Okay, so you read this, right? Because this was kind of long.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, kind of an interesting thing. I don't know, did anybody notice in today's TED Talk, anybody here in Nevada, Las Vegas, notice in the TED Talk that he quoted Shakespeare?
Yes.
Okay, did anybody notice Paul Bloom quoted Shakespeare? Anybody remember that? He was talking about the mind, it's what you make of it. So I can't remember the exact quote. Well,
Oh, I remember that.
Dan Gilbert also quoted Shakespeare in his TED Talk. So that's kind of interesting. So this is from Henry V. There is a tide to the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries. On such a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current when it serves, or lose our ventures. Okay, what does that mean? Connie, what does that mean? There is a tide to the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. What does that mean?
Well, I would say that if you go along with, if you push ahead, you're going to
Okay,
get
cut.
where you need
Kevin,
to go.
what does that mean? There's a tide to the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of life. Huh?
Prosper in the long run.
Okay, so what this is saying is, in our life, sometimes there's good times and sometimes there's bad times. Sometimes things are going with us, sometimes things are not. If we go with it when times are good, it's going to lead on to a lot of good things. If we don't take that opportunity, and when times turn and they're not so good, then our life is not so good. So, so that's an important thing to remember. Time goes from good times to bad times, and bad times to good times. So when you're in a thing where it's, you have a full sea, you know, like, has everybody here gone body surfing? Anybody not? Okay. So body surfing, you do what, Dave? What do you do in body surfing?
You're letting the wave propel you towards shore.
Okay, and you have to pick the right wave, right?
You have
And
to
timing is
observe.
very important.
Timing is.
So the waves are coming in, you're watching, you're saying, is this a good wave? And then the wave is coming in, you start swimming as fast as you can away from the wave, and then it's going to catch up with you, and if you did it right, it's going to be a lot of fun. But if you wait till there's no good waves, or the tide is going out, then it's not really going to be so good. So the key part about this is time. Sometimes time in our lives are good, sometimes the times in our life are not good. So we had a video, and we're going to talk about the Google Calendar. What does anybody know about Google Calendar? So you started saying something about a red button.
Oh, the red box, the home box, I guess.
Okay. In Calendar. So I'm going to shift over to Calendar. And the Create box.
Yeah, the create.
Okay. All right. Now it used to say, I think, New Event or something, Phyllis, when you started. It didn't say Create. It said
Great event.
New before. Okay. So now it says that. So here is our calendar for the Las Vegas campus, the daily calendar of what we do. What else does anybody else remember? Kevin, what's one thing you remember about today's
So
plan?
you can click on a specific time, like on a future date.
Okay.
You can put in an event that way.
Okay, Brittany, what's one thing you remember? Do you remember how to create a calendar?
Yeah,
Okay, how?
by clicking create.
Is that a calendar or an event? Okay, how do you create a calendar? Who knows?
Then you'll go to the day in the month.
Okay, we're going to talk about creating a calendar. Huh?
Click on more.
Click on More. Okay, so on this here, this More?
You, you open up an email.
No.
No?
Okay, that's for creating an event. Huh?
To make a whole calendar?
Yeah.
Like the whole month?
A whole calendar.
Probably that year.
Okay.
We do the
All right,
4
so
days.
here's the important, yeah.
Go to My Calendars, click on the arrow, down arrow, and create new calendar.
Okay. Now here's the most important thing to know about Google Calendar. It's not just one calendar. You can have multiple calendars. You can have a lot of calendars. So what you want to do is you want to create different calendars for everything you have. family calendar, work calendar. If you're on a sports team or you on a bowling league or something like that, you could have that calendar. Google lets you have multiple calendars and you can stack them up on top of each other. And so you can see them over here on the left on this screen. So over here on the left, you get an idea of how many calendars I have. And if the box to the left of the calendar name is colored, that means that calendar is on. So I just turned on the calendar for Casa Grande campus, which is purple. If I don't want to see that calendar, I click on the box next to it, I turn it off. I turn off my calendar. I turn off the LV campus calendar. I turn off the LV quiz calendar. What happens? There's nothing on my screen, right? So one of the great things about Google Calendar is you have many calendars. You don't just have one calendar. You have a separate calendar for everything you do. And your personal calendar is a calendar you don't share with anyone. You get that automatically when you have Gmail. Then you can create extra calendars. So I turn on my Las Vegas campus calendar. So now you see the screen went green because I turned it on. So now I'm really looking at how many calendars? Two. I'm looking at 2 calendars. If I want to turn on the Chow Tutti calendar, I do that and I see, I don't have anything for Chow Tutti.
What's CG campus?
Casa Grande.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So you all have 2 calendars right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
One is called CG Campus. And where is that located on the left side of your screen?
Under other calendar.
Under other calendars. And so that's a calendar that you would use to reference. So again, a key thing about Google Calendars is you don't have one calendar. So for you, Steve, if you have 3 different sales projects in the future, one thing to do would be to have a separate calendar for each one. And you can turn them all on at the same time so you can see they're color coded so you can see, oh, okay, for this side, that, which is what I do. So, what's the most important thing to know about calendars, Darren?
Is the color.
Well, sort of. What does that mean?
Color, cause the basic one.
Okay. All right, color. Ed, what's the most important thing about calendars?
They keep you at your appointments. They keep you-
No, but I've said 3 times.
How to create one.
No, that's not the most important thing. What's the most important thing about calendars? Maybe in California. What's the most important thing about calendars that I've said 3 times?
It's that.
Organized. Organized.
Time, money, is valuable.
The most important thing about the Google Calendar app is that you have multiple calendars.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the most important thing to get. Because in our brains, nobody is exposed to having multiple calendars at the same time. We're used to when somebody says a calendar, your brain pictures what?
Days.
What does it picture?
On a calendar?
It pictures a calendar, right? A paper thing that you probably flip up, right?
Swimsuit issue?
Okay, so you picture the pictures on the calendar, okay? Tool calendar, whatever. So when we think of calendar, when we were told this is a calendar, we were really told it's a piece of paper that shows all of the days in a month, and you write on it. And you have one calendar. Or maybe there's this other one over here, and then it gets to be confusing because you've got this calendar, then I got to go over here and look at this calendar, and if I have 3 calendars, life is really difficult and confusing and frustrating because I kind of have to be juggling these 3 calendars. What Google did is they said, no, let's have it so it works the way our brains work. And let's have it so that they're stacked up and we can see all of them, or we can take different calendars away and just see what we want to see. And a big thing about Google is it's collaborative. So why is it important to have multiple calendars if you want it to be collaborative?
So you have to go back and forth.
No. The key thing is when it's collaborative, you want to be able to share some things with some people, right? So having the thing of collaborative, in Google you have circles. Do you want to have, if you didn't have multiple calendars and it was collaborative, what would happen? Everybody would see what?
Everything.
The same calendar, right?
Right.
You wouldn't have any privacy. You'd have one big calendar where everybody could see anything you posted.
Unless you put private.
Huh?
Unless you put it private.
Well, then nobody would be able, or then
Yeah.
whoever you let see it. But what Google says is, no, we want this to be collaborative, so you have to be able to have this calendar, and this calendar, and this calendar. And some people can see calendar 1, some people can see calendar 2, some people can see calendar 3. But they only see it if you let them see it. So what do we do here in the school? Here in Las Vegas is when you start, we add you to a calendar so you can see all of the stuff that we do that week. And we also have the LV quiz on Fridays. So you see that. So the second thing about calendars is they're fully collaborative. You can let anybody see any calendar you want. How do you let them see all of your calendars?
Make
How
it
could
public.
somebody, huh?
Make it public.
All of your calendars. Automatically, all of your calendars. No, that one you'd be making each calendar public, right? How can somebody?
Share.
Share what?
Share your calendar with specific
No,
people.
but that's making each one. I'm not saying how do you make each calendar. I'm saying how do you make all calendars visible to someone? Sort of a trick question. Well, that would be each one. If I create this calendar, I share it with you by inviting you to see it. I'm saying, how do I make it so that all calendars are visible? So the second I create a calendar, you can see it. How do I do that? So the key word is trick question, key words. So it's not something you would normally think of. So you have to think a little bit out of the box.
By just posting it?
No. That would be each. That would be another each.
Okay, I don't know your trick answer then.
Okay. If I shared my email address with you and you logged on as me, that's the only way you could see all of my calendars. Some people do that. That's not a good idea in general. Except now the new trend with married people is you have a single email account. Personal. You don't have personal ones. You have a shared one. Billy, Bob, and Sally at gmail.com. Why? What's a good reason?
Well, a good reason would be if you were creating things together.
Well, a good reason
But,
is
you
you
know,
know what your
but-
spouse is always doing.
Yeah, well.
You see all of their
I
emails,
wouldn't want it- I
you
wouldn't
see all
want
of their
to know that.
friends, you see everything. Okay, that's a good reason, right? What's a bad reason?
Oh, well, that's a bad reason too.
Okay, so anyway, that's a trend. I don't have an opinion on it one way or another, but that's a trend, is if you share. So for people, married people who say we're going to have one email account, the one to choose would be Gmail, because now you have shared calendars. Any calendar one of the two people have, the other people have access to. But that's not how Google set it up. They don't have a little switch, share all of my calendars. So when we want to create a calendar, how do we do it, Darren? Forgot. Wrong answer. Don't start with Kevin, how do we do it? How do we create a calendar?
Oh,
Tyrell, how do we create a calendar?
No,
You guys know the question is coming.
Yeah.
it depends.
Jesus, okay? That's actually a good answer because there's usually more than one way to do things in Google. Okay, but I know if I say, okay, Jesus, how do we create a calendar in Google? Steve said it. It should have been in the video. Steve. He's going to pass the ball to Steve.
There's a link on the calendar web page, and you click that link. And
Okay, but where is that link?
It's the red button up in the
No.
upper left.
Okay, that's an event. Okay, so important thing.
Arrow down.
An event is something that goes on the calendar at a particular time or day. A calendar is the whole thing.
Is it under my calendars and the little box?
Okay,
on the side?
so we're going to create 3 calendars. Actually 2, because we have 1. What are the calendars we're going to create?
Well, personal calendar,
We have that,
school calendar.
okay?
And a work calendar.
Good reading. Okay, so we're going to create, we already have our personal calendar. How do we get that? How do we get the personal calendar? Brittany?
You make it.
No, it's given to you.
Default.
When you get your Gmail address, you automatically have that. Okay, so we're going to create our school calendar.
These are trick questions.
Somebody sent me a kite. I need to ask more trick questions. Okay,
Because I know I can.
go to My Calendars and click on the down arrow, and it says Create New Calendar. Click on that. Now, here, put school and your name. Okay? School and your name.
It's not coming up.
Down arrow.
First and last name?
Down arrow.
Okay? Yeah.
Create.
Or you can put first name, last initial. Type the calendar name in. Now, here's an important habit to get into. Put a description. Because you're going to have this account, you should have this account for the rest of your life. And I can promise you, if you can't remember what we did yesterday, you're not going to remember 5 years from now
Your name and
what this calendar is. And don't say, I'm going to figure it out.
description. This school?
Yeah, just saying, Larson Training Center daily calendar. Just imagine 5 years from now, you're going to be looking at this, you're going to say calendar, I don't remember what that was. Or you're going to get in a car wreck and you're going to get brain damage and you're going to be building yourself back like Joe Bolte was, and you're going to go back to this and say, what was that? Now the next thing to do is make sure you put in the location. So you type Las Vegas.
Calendar.
Okay? And then share the calendar with in California with Dennis. What's your thing? 09, Phyllis? What? 94? 91?
91814.
Not 09?
No, that's where I'm looking for. 91814.
Okay, so here, share your calendar with Phyllis. And in California, share your calendar with Dennis and Rose.
My name?
Don't make the calendar public. This is your school calendar.
Location, what did we put?
Las Vegas. Or if you're Tony, you might say state of mind.
School.
Your name and school. Okay, with that.
School, your name.
Brittany School.
Okay? And then you click create calendar. Once you do that, do it for work also. Same thing, work.
Or create calendar.
Okay, work, your name. So create those calendars. So here you'll actually have now 4 calendars, right? 2 that you created, 1 you got with your Gmail, 2 you created, and 1 that's a school calendar that was shared with you, LV campus or CG campus.
So you want one as a work one too?
Yeah. And then you can go back to today's class notes on what you should have. So for example, it says on your school calendar, make sure that you have your start date, graduation date, and anything else of importance. We'll talk about that second. Okay.
You're
Who?
sure
Who?
school with me, right?
Yeah. Who has both of the calendars done? Okay. Jesus, how about Brittany? Which one are you working on now?
School.
Okay. Still on the school one?
I sounds from the first too.
Huh?
You gotta do work. Do work on.
Yeah, do your work one. Okay, Darren, are you on track?
Yeah, I'm on the
Says
school one still.
Okay, so all you have to do, once again,
Have one. Put that in there and then create.
Yeah.
I got some with first too.
No, not that one. So work.
okay, now, but good question. So now, what I want you to do is share your work one with our school one of Larson 88 Gladius. No, that's not right.
That is right.
No. Okay. It's Larson
Okay.
dot Gladius 88 at Gmail.
Okay, that's for the school folder?
Yeah.
The work one.
No, yeah, that's for work.
Oh, that's for the work one.
Yes. Share your work calendar with Larson.Gladius88.
All lowercase.
Good. Okay.
Number 10? No.
Huh? 88. Larson.Gladius88.
I'm at the top 4. What's that? 4 C?
Four-
Lowercase p.
918
14
14.
at,
Oh, that at sign.
yeah, at gmail.com.
Yeah.
I want to share my school one with you,
Share school
with Phyllis.
with Phyllis and work with Larson.
Okay, now we click on.
Now, for people in California, ideally you would want to share your work calendar with your counselor at the agency that brought you in, or Nick Corso, or Amy Kohler, or Williams, I can't remember her name.
This is
Do you want the calendars public?
No,
okay.
calendars are not public.
Okay.
Do not have public
And
calendars.
then create calendar.
Yeah. Let's see. We'll put the calendars in blue. Top.
Somewhere in there.
No, the employment one, you're gonna do a Larson.Gladius88 at gmail.com. So go back
Okay, Dennis, how's everybody doing in California?
Share the calendar.
Does everybody have their calendar?
Calendars and
I got a question, Director.
Yes.
What if you want to edit something that, like,
school.
say I have my original school folder, my school calendar, but I just put my name on it,
Yeah.
so how would I edit just the name?
The name of the calendar?
Yeah, how do I go about doing that?
Well, so you go into your calendar,
Okay, with the little box, right?
okay?
Display only this calendar,
No.
calendar settings, view trash, create event and calendar.
Yeah,
share
you
this
go to calendar settings,
Calendar settings.
and then you just change the name.
Oh, okay.
Okay, remember,
Yeah, it's our shirt.
Google is designed for, like 6th or 7th grade things. So if you find you're confused, just say, this isn't that hard, I can't overthink it. Mostly people overthink. Okay, so Brittany, do you have your calendars? You're done? Okay, good. Jesus?
Yes.
Tyrell?
I'm trying to find out how to view my calendar.
Okay, next to your calendar, over here on the left,
Click my calendar.
yeah, open that up and make sure that it's colored next to the name. If it's white, it's not visible. Okay, so Ed, do you have yours?
Yes, I have 2 of them actually.
Well, you're supposed to have 2. Okay, Steve?
Yes.
Good. Connie?
I'm trying to look what you talking about.
Darren?
I made 3 of them.
Okay, and Kevin does. Okay, now,
I did,
okay, so in a minute,
I didn't get a invitation. Did you share with me?
Yeah.
The school?
in a minute, we're going to start doing some stuff on our calendars, but here's an important thing to think of. When we think of a calendar, the thing we were introduced to when we were young, what was a calendar for? What did you put on a calendar?
Oh, I typed your name.
Okay, what were calendars for? What did you put on a calendar? Brittany, what did you put on a calendar in the past? When you're brought up to be taught how to use a calendar, what do you put on a calendar? Huh?
For what?
Anything.
Will I make you a calendar?
but we
In the past, when you had a calendar, what did you put on the calendar? What'd you use it for? Okay, birthdays. What else? Parties, okay. Generally things in the past or the future? In the past?
I mean, in the future.
Okay, good, good. In the past, you used to do it for the future. Okay. Okay, so here's an important thing to know about calendars. When we are taught to use a calendar, we're taught this is to remind me to do things in the future, right?
Like that person?
Okay, but really, a calendar is also to record important things about the past.
You get it now?
Things that you accomplished.
I'll put an I instead of a Y.
Things that you did in the past. Because, have you ever found yourself wanting to know, when did I do that? When did I do that thing? And you don't really remember when you did it? Okay, that's because we don't know that what we are really supposed to do with the calendar is also write down things that are important that happened in the past. So I have a calendar called Res Gesti, which is just things that I've done in the past. So important things that occurred in the past.
I went right here and I clicked on this. I pressed
Okay.
display on this calendar and it blank everything out.
So you can see on my calendar at the top, there are some things that are purple. That's the color for my Res Gesti calendar. So in the future, if I just wanted to see, I just want to see all the important things that happened to me last year, what would I do, Connie?
814. There you go.
What would I do?
You could,
That person, right? You're like, no.
I would have a calendar that was important stuff,
right,
I would look at the monthly view and I could see in one shot everything that was important that happened to me that month. That was out of the ordinary. So that would be a good way to go back and review my life. Because here's the important things that happened to me. And I go back in the month and I see, oh, these things that are purple, they're grayed out. Why are they lighter color? What does that mean?
They happened in the past.
Yeah, that was the past. So here's the future. Future is bright. That's the monthly view. So,
Wait,
yeah,
how'd you do that?
do what?
I wasn't paying attention, I was helping him out.
Okay. So what I'm talking about is don't just think about calendars about the future. Think about them as the past also. To write important things down, to have a record. Now you should create a calendar for that too, to make it easy to just define things that are important. Because if you have your daily calendar, here's all the stuff we do every day, how do you find the important stuff? You have to look at every day, right? But if you have another calendar that is just, here's the important stuff I need to know, then what you do is you turn off all of your other calendars. Turn these off. Turn that off. Turn that off. Turn off my personal one. And I look at a monthly view. And what I'm left with, turn off this one, snap. What I'm left with is, here's all the important things that happened to me that month. Now, is that a powerful tool to be able to go back and find, like last year, what day did I do this important thing, or what day did this important thing happen to me? So think of a calendar also as not just the future, but it's about the past. Recording important things that happened to you in the past. So let's create another calendar, since everybody should be good at this now, right? Amateurs practice till they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. So now let's create another calendar called Res Gesti. What does that mean?
Things learned, things are learned.
Close.
Good morning.
Ah, good morning.
Hi.
So let's create a calendar called Res Gesti. How do you create a calendar, Darren?
Go to my-
Wrong answer.
Oh.
Tyrell, how do you create a calendar?
You
Time out. Timed out. Ed.
Go to my calendar into the little square box, and then you press it, and it'll come on to create new calendar.
Correct. Okay, so create a new calendar called Res Gesti. This will make people think you're really smart, because this is Latin. This is what the Romans had. They didn't have a word for history. They called it things done. Huh?
We don't put that where our name is.
Okay, so you go create a calendar, right? You go to My Calendars, push the down arrow, create new calendar, and where it says calendar name, you type in Res Gesti,
Oh.
which
And
should
our
be on
name-
the cover of your composition book.
Right
Okay?
there. Res. How you say it?
Res Gesti.
Yes.
Okay, now,
Do we put our name in?
no, because you're not going to share this. Okay, so this means, and then where it has description, right, things done.
Is that
That was the Roman term for the past.
GEST
T-A-E.
TAE?
Yeah, like in Caesar, like in Caesar.
CE. C.
RESGESTAE,
Yeah,
sloppy.
G-E-S-T-A-E.
Okay.
Okay, Res Gesti, things done. Okay, so create that calendar. And then today, in the afternoon, we want you to populate your calendars. What's one of the first things you should have on your Res Gesti calendar? What's the most important thing that's ever happened in your life? Brittany.
The most important thing?
Yeah.
I don't know, there's a lot.
Okay.
Birthday?
The day you're born is the most important thing, really, that happened. Okay? Now, some people, when they're clever, they say, what's the best day of your life? And they'll say, today. Because every other day is gone. This is the only day of my life. This is the only day. Tomorrow hasn't come. Yesterday's gone. Today is the best day of my life. But the most important day of your life is the day you're born. So how do you add that to your calendar? Okay, we have not gone to settings yet. We'll do that tomorrow. But when you have settings set up, and it has a jump to date on the right. So if you want to go to your birthday, for example, you put in your birthday.
Oops. That red circle.
That's in the first one.
Description? When it's done? Oh, that's what I thought.
Well, I guess unfortunately the jump to date doesn't go back before 1980, but you can go back manually.
So it won't go back to 1970?
Well, it will, not just the date, you have to go back
Manually, right?
manually, yeah. If it's before that, which is kind of kooky. I don't remember that before. Oh, year view.
No, I was gonna ask you there, I know there is a year view.
What do you know?
No one,
Okay.
it's just your calendar.
So you can go to 1957.
So the person you put.
Well, I would go to 1957
Now email?
to September 10th. Oh, guess what's on my calendar? The day I'm born.
Okay.
So on now, how do we add something to our Res Gesti calendar? So we talked about creating an event, right? So you push on create event, and now in this box here where it says calendar, see this box? The arrow to the right, if you click it, it has all of the calendars you could put something on. So if you're creating an event for your Res Gesti calendar, what do you want to push, or what calendar do you want to put that on? The Res Gesti calendar, right? Okay. Otherwise, if it's something having to do with work or school, you push the Create Event button. You push the Create Event button. Create Event. And you put whatever calendar you want it to go on. Now, I want to talk about one last thing, then we'll answer any questions. You notice at the top of my calendar, before there's any dates, there are a couple things. You notice that? How do we put something in there? How do we put something in this box? So if we go to Create Event, you click All Day, the All Day button. And that puts it, when you save the event, that'll put it above. So on your calendar, the calendar lets you do things for specific times of the day or just sometime that day. Okay? And it's with the button here that says all day. Normally when I do create an event, You always start at the top with Google Apps so you don't forget anything. You put in whatever the name of the event is. You then click on the day. You then click on the time. Time it starts, time it ends. But if you hit all day, that goes away. The times of the day go away. It's just whatever days you want to have it. So if you said vacation, you could put in the date the vacation started, the date it ended.
Creating calendar.
Then you just fill in the rest. Where, what calendar, description, etc. That's about as far as we're going to go today. So to recap, Google has designed a calendar app that is for multiple calendars. You should never have one calendar, and you should think in terms of when it's anytime having to add something to a calendar, your first question in your brain should be, do I need to create a new calendar? And under what circumstances, Brittany, would you add a new calendar?
No, all lower.
Or whatever you need it for.
No, but let's say there's an event. Something's going to happen a day in the future. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to add that thing to my calendar. But the first question that should come to your mind is, will I need to create a new calendar? So when would you decide to create a new calendar, Steve?
That mine just went right over my head.
Okay.
It's in the morning.
No, not what time of day. Okay, so in other words, you create a new calendar if you're going to use it a lot, right?
Right.
Is there any reason to create a calendar that you're going to have one event on?
No.
What would you say? No. You don't want to create a calendar you're going to have one event. So if you're going to have a lot of events that are the same type of thing, then you should consider having a calendar for that. But if it's only one event or two, you don't need a new calendar. So Google Calendar is designed to have multiple calendars. Yes, Phyllis.
Make sure their calendars are offline.
Offline.
Ruben.
Okay, let's see if we have time for this. Everybody go to your settings gear.
Create calendar.
Settings gear.
Okay, click on settings.
Yep.
No, it was on that. As soon as I hit the gear, it says offline. Right?
Should we be on the compact?
Okay, wait. Settings gear.
Oh, you don't have it.
Mine, because I already have offline, probably. Okay, so Phyllis says if you hit the settings gear, there should be an option that says offline.
And then enable.
Okay,
Button.
offline, and then enable your calendar to be offline. Why? What does that enable you to do?
You can see it when you're offline.
Exactly, because you don't always have internet access where you are today.
Go to settings. Settings.
You're lost? You
I
see you're lost?
got lost.
And
Okay, so go to settings.
So click on
calendar.
All right.
all that, so it'll be all available offline.
This
Click on the gear,
No, that should.
and when this box pops up, there should be a choice that says
Go to
offline.
creating calendar.
It's towards the
Yeah.
bottom.
Okay, click on that,
Back to
and
calendar.
what's the next thing it says? Connie?
Synchronizing.
And
Okay.
Offline.
What did it say before synchronizing? Make available or something?
Oh, enable.
Enable.
Yeah.
So enable offline.
Work. And then your name.
Remember Abel?
Borrego.
Enable?
Abel.
Yeah. Borrego, who got rolled up
Got rolled up.
because he deviated on a Saturday,
That's right.
didn't go to hero school.
Submarine Man.
Right. Okay.
Las Vegas.
So Dennis,
That's it.
any questions I can answer for
You
you in
want-
California?
You want to have,
Send.
And then email you again.
did you still want to introduce today or you want to do it tomorrow?
Let's start it tomorrow because we're at time. So first thing tomorrow, we'll introduce your new student and our new student.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone.
Go
We'll
ahead.
see you.
Thanks for being there.